The First Werewolf, King Lycaon. King meaning messenger or angel. Lykon, a genus of animals containing the African wild dog. The dog angel or wolf angel. The wolf evolves into the dog. In Greek mythology, Lykon was the king of Arcadia, who, in the most popular version of the myth, tested Zeus's omniscience by serving him the roasted flesh of Lykon's own son, Nyctimus, in order to see whether Zeus was truly all-knowing. In return for these gruesome deeds, Zeus transformed Lykon into a wolf and killed his offspring, and Nyctimus was restored to life. Lykon had 50 children, meaning Zeus killed 49 children and saved but one. Here we have the expansion of the dogman of Canaan, who in Greek times evolved into the wolf, which is in fact retreating back to the ancient worship of the wolf. The dog is a loyal companion. The wolf is not. But the dog is worse than the wolf. In mythology, they are indicators of poison. Despite being notorious for his horrific deeds, Lykon was also remembered as a culture hero, the personification of a protector god. Lykon was believed to have founded the city Lycosura. Ra means of, Zu is wisdom or knowledge, and Lyko is wolf. Lycoris, a Greek word meaning twilight, or relating to Lyko, meaning wolf. Lycosura could possibly mean the wisdom of the wolf. In the north, Ursula means bear or she-bear, similar to the she-wolf, which we will get to shortly. Lykon is also said to have established a cult of Zeus, Lykaeos, and to have started the tradition of the Lycaean Games, which Pausanias thinks is older than the Panathenaic Games. Pausanias and Philip II. Here we should ask ourselves, why did he do that? According to Gaius Julius Hyginus, from 17 AD, Lykon dedicated the first temple to Hermes of Cyllene. And now I have primed you for the most suitable modern interpretation of the myth of Lycaon, which is from the English poet Robert Graves, from his book The Greek Myths. He explained the origin of Lykon's myth as follows. The story of Zeus and the boy's guts is not so much of a myth, instead as a moral anecdote, expressing the disgust felt in more civilized parts of Greece for the ancient cannibalistic practices of Arcadia, which were still performed in the name of Zeus, as barbarous and unnatural. Lykon's virtuous Athenian contemporary, Cecropes, offered only barley cakes, abstaining even from animal sacrifices. This would be the people versus the nobility. The Lykonian rites, which the author denies Zeus ever allowed, were apparently intended to discourage the wolves by sending them a human king. Here we still see the air of sacrifice. Lykaos means she-wolf, but also of the light, and the lightning in the Lykon myth indicates that the Arcadian Zeus began as a rain-making sacred king. He is standing in retinue, Davos, from of post behind, religion. Zeus began as a rain-making sacred king, in service to the divine she-wolf, to whom the wolf pack howls. In Babylon, that would be Sin. In Egypt, Tehut. A great year of 100 months, or 8 solar years, was divided equally between the sacred king and his second-in-command, and Lyakon's 50 sons, one for every month of the sacred king's reign, will have been the eaters of the umbel soup. If any of you have watched Conan the Barbarian, in that movie you will see an umbel soup, and this may relate to the feast of the satyr, the goat man, dining with the Greek gods. The figure 22, which would be Hermes' birthday. The figure 22, unless it has been arrived at by account of the families who claimed descent from Lykon and had to participate in the umbel feast, probably refers to the 22 5-year lustra which composed a cycle, the 110-year cycle of a particular line of priestesses. The child of Zeus, Hermes, Tehut, alternatively Enoch, was said to have been born on May 22nd, which probably refers to the 22 5-year lustra. If we take heed from the last section, we can become a prophet. Whatever happened in 1914 should happen in 2024, a 110-year cycle, and this should be evident in the history books. I must say, I find this very similar to Marduk, who had 50 names of the old gods hidden within him. Lykon also had 50 children, who are by definition extensions of himself. The only child saved by Zeus is Nyctimus. And what does Nyctimus mean? Oh my word. Nyctimus is a spider genus. The Akkadian term Utuku, from the Udughul incantation, refers to an ambiguous class of daemons, a legion, which are extensions of himself. Utuku meaning spider, cognate with Nyctimus. The god Marduk, Merodach, Marutuk, is known from an inscription as Marutuk the container. Therefore, Lykon may be no different. Don't forget the Greek writers reformed the Babylonian mythology. Let's just say they drew influence from the region. The Babylonians intended that the Enuma Elish was to serve as a song of praise for the king of the gods. The problem is that is Pazuzu. Correspondingly, the story of Hesiod reveals the tale of Zeus. Hesiod was active between 750 and 650 BC. The later Berossus was a Hellenistic-era Babylonian writer, a priest of Bel Marduk, and an astronomer who wrote in the Koine Greek language, who was active at the beginning of the 3rd century BC. Here we have the connections to the Diverni papyrus, dated to around the same time as Berossus, where we found Zeus dressing up in mother's clothing. In the text, Zeus is identified as Mother Zeus, taken from a funeral pyre, which was meant to be burned. In modern times, hundreds of thousands of Greeks, from all walks of life, still openly worship the old gods. And those that don't usually worship angels, as if there is a difference. The old gods are the 50 names, and I'll guarantee that Lykon's children are synonyms of the 50 names incorporated into Marutuk, the container.